As night falls, the story begins in this dark forest. The forest journey of the panda and his good friend the elephant has officially begun. The panda and the baby elephant were walking in the forest. The deeper they walked, the darker the surroundings became. There was also a dark and gloomy feeling. The baby elephant was a little scared. If it weren't for the giant panda as a companion, the baby elephant would never have walked alone in the dark night. In the forest, after walking for a while, Panda discovered this rare glazed flower. According to his grandfather, the special feature of this flower is that the petals are very thin and brittle. Each petal will emit white light at night. The darker the environment, the brighter it will be. Walking at night in the forest holding a glass flower is like holding a lamp. At this moment, the two of them feel as if they are walking side by side with the moon. What a stir-fry! But be careful, because every petal is as sharp as a sword. However, the life of this glazed flower is very short. Before long, the petals begin to fall one by one, and the light dims little by little. The giant panda had a speechless expression, but the little elephant had a troubled expression. This flower is too unlucky. The panda made a bamboo flute and started playing it before the last light faded. After a while, little yellow lights flew from a distance. The joy of the little elephant returned to his face, and many fireflies surrounded him. The two of them walked while blowing. When the fireflies slowly dispersed, the sky became slightly brighter and the night passed again. In the early morning, after walking all night, the panda picked a banana from the tree, peeled it off with great care, and handed it to the baby elephant, who ate it happily. As they walked, they encountered another problem. There was a rapid in front of them. Because the rapid was too wide, they couldn't find tree poles nearby, so the panda had to push the big rocks on the edge of the rapid down the rapid one by one. Although the rapids were not a problem for him, they were dangerous for the little elephant. So the panda told the little elephant to follow him closely, and he held the big rocks in front of him. Because the rocks had been pressed against the edge of the rapids for many years, they were covered with thin moss and were very slippery. The giant panda looked a little embarrassed. The panda and the baby elephant walked into the pine forest. Not long after walking, they found a fox falling into the pit and getting injured. The fox said that he fell into a trap while chasing a pheasant. The baby elephant wanted to use its long trunk to pull the fox up, but the fox's hands were injured. Unable to exert any strength, he bit the elephant's trunk with his beak, and the elephant's trunk felt painful. The panda had to climb up the tree to find a tough long vine and put it down in the pit, so that the fox could bite it tightly with his beak. Not long after, they finally succeeded in pulling the fox up, and bandaged the fox's wounds. They told him to be more careful when walking to avoid getting more injured. The fox thanked them both. They stopped not far from the suspension bridge. The panda asked the baby elephant if he was afraid of the high and long suspension bridge. In fact, Along the way, the panda still took good care of the baby elephant, just like a big brother. The baby elephant looked at an iron bridge on the other side and asked the panda why he didn't take this iron bridge. It seemed more stable and safer. The panda said that it was a bridge used by humans. The baby elephant sighed and followed the panda to the suspension bridge. Although the baby elephant said he was not afraid, for the sake of peace of mind and safety, the panda still tied a rope around his waist. If the baby elephant is scared, he can grab his rope. So, they walked across the other end of the suspension bridge together. In order to cope with the upcoming journey, the panda took the baby elephant to the fruit forest for a feast. He didn't expect that a few years later, the fruits in this fruit forest would still be so sweet and juicy. He picked a lot of apples from the trees. The baby elephants started eating the first apple they received, and they all ate themselves up. After the meal, the panda and the baby elephant walked back to the forest. They passed by the stream and planned to wash their faces. Unexpectedly, it rained suddenly and heavily. Now they had to wash their faces and take a bath together. They had to find a cave to take shelter from the rain. When they walked into the cave, they found an injured bird on the ground, so they chatted with each other. It turned out that the bird came in to look for food. There were many small fruits that the birds loved to eat growing on the top of the cave. For convenience, he used his paws till he was clinging to the stone wall and accidentally caught his foot in a crevice. He struggled and lost his balance. His right wing hit the stone edge and was injured. Now he can only stand on the ground and cannot fly for the time being. The panda looked up and saw that there were indeed small fruits growing on the upper left side. After he stood up and approached, he began to pick them off bit by bit and held them in his arms. The panda returned to the little bird and piled the small fruits in his arms into a small hill on the ground. The little bird happily jumped on top of the small fruits and thanked the baby elephant for chatting with him for so long. He also thanked the panda for helping to pick them for several days of food. At the same time, the rain also subsided. After saying goodbye to the bird, they prepared to walk out of the cave. Suddenly, the baby elephant quickly ran out of the cave alone. It turned out that the baby elephant had seen a rainbow in front of the cave. The baby elephant looked up happily to the sky. It was a rainbow after the rain. It was so beautiful. The panda took the baby elephant to the cliff on the other side, looked down from the highest point, and said, "This is where humans live." The baby elephant looked at the dense huts and asked him if humans are scary. As if he knew what the baby elephant was thinking, he said, "In fact, humans and animals all have their evil or kind sides. Those who set traps in the forest are hunters, and they do it for a living. Just like the fox said, 'Hunters hunt me, I hunt chickens.' All for survival." The baby elephant looked at this human settlement with curious eyes. Dear children, the story ends here.